We are live. What is up, fight nerds and dirty gamblers? I am Eric, and this is Eric Bets Fights, coming at you right here on the Never Hedge Media YouTube channel. Welcome, everybody, to Mixed Martial Smarts. This is the weekly show where we test your trivial knowledge of the fighters who will be appearing on this weekend's UFC card. This episode will be for UFC Long Island, headlined by Brian Ortega versus Yair Rodriguez. But first things first, folks, we got to kick off the show by going through our answers from last week. So last week's show was UFC Vegas 58, headlined by the Battle of the Rafaels dos Anjos versus Fiziev. Question number 1 from last week was true or false. UFC Vegas 58, headlined by Rafael dos Anjos versus Rafael Fiziev, represents the first event in UFC history in which the main event fighters share a first name. That was false. It has actually happened 2 other times. Jake Shields versus Jake Ellenberger headlined UFC Fight Night Battle on the Bayou in New Orleans in September 2011. And John Lineker versus John Dodson headlined UFC Fight Night 96 in Portland, Oregon in October 2016. Those are the only 2 I was able to find. It's possible there are others. If you know of any others, go ahead and drop them in the comments down there. That's what's more fun. What's a more fun thing to happen in trivia than for the host to be wrong and for you to be right and to be able to argue your point, right? So yeah, if you know of any others, let me know and I will. I'll definitely shout you out. Question number 2: Nina Nunes, who faces Cynthia Calvillo at UFC Vegas 58. Getting canceled, but anyway, is perhaps best known as the wife of WMMA GOAT Amanda Nunes. What was Nina's last name before taking her wife's name? It was Ansaroff. Question number 3: at just over 7.5 hours, Rafael dos Anjos ranks second all-time for most total UFC fight time. With just shy of 8 hours, who is the only fighter with more fight time than RDA? And that was Frankie Edgar. And yeah, they would have come pretty close. So that fight went into round 5, right? So yeah, he must be pretty close. I don't think he quite caught, because yeah, they would have shown it on the screen, and I don't think they did, because when somebody passes a record, they always like show it on the screen when that happens. So yeah, he wouldn't have quite gotten there, but pretty close. Anyway, number 4, Caio Borralho, a self-described fight nerd, has some interesting and arguably sort of nerdy tattoos, including a 2-word phrase on his throat right here and a 3-word phrase on his arm. What are these phrases? He has free spirit tattooed right there on the front of his neck, and on his arm he has fight or die. And finally, question number 5: which UFC Vegas 58 fighter has the dubious distinction of having fought in the octagon 12 times, only having their hand raised, in 3 of those outings? That was Chase Sherman, but of course that has changed. Yeah, he went into his fight with Jared Vanderaa 3-9 in the UFC, and he's now 4-9. And this is a trivia show, not a betting show, but I did bet on Chase Sherman, and I did bet on Chase Sherman by KO. And in my Thursday night show on the Eric Bets Fights channel called Big Money Bets, where we talk about props and parlays, the biggest money prop that I gave out was Chase Sherman by KO in round 3, which was at like plus 1,500, and that one hit. So I was proud of that. So yeah, if you haven't yet, make your way over to the Eric Bets Fights YouTube channel and subscribe there. And also, of course, subscribe right here on the Never Hedge Media channel if you haven't as well. Excuse me. And yeah, it says it on the screen right there. I just said that. Please make sure to take a moment. We're going to get started with the show now, but please make sure to take a moment to like this video and subscribe to Never Hedge Media. I'm going to give you the 5 questions for this week's show for UFC Long Island. What I'd like you to do is play along by dropping your guesses down in the comments. I will, if you do that, I'll interact with you. I'll let you know if you got them right. If you didn't, maybe I'll give you some hints and that kind of thing. But yeah, it's a lot more fun if you all play along. All right, question number 1. Which UFC Long Island fighter is currently in his second stint with the promotion, having been cut after losing to Chris Camozzi in 2012? So yeah, he got cut from the promotion 10 years ago, fought his way back into the promotion, and is now undefeated in his current stint. Which fighter is that? Question number 2. Between 2013 and 2014, Michelle the Karate Hottie Watterson was the number 1 ranked fighter in the world in what weight class? Is it a trick question? It might be. Has Michelle Watterson fought in more than one weight class? Maybe she has. So yeah, we're wondering between 2013 and 14, Michelle Watterson was the number 1 ranked fighter in the world in what weight class? Go ahead and drop that down in the comments if you've got a guess. Question number 3, we got a true or false for you. True or false? Making his debut in May 2014, the Leech Li Jingliang was the first Chinese-born fighter to compete in the UFC. So yeah, way back in May 2014. So yeah, he's been in the UFC for, what is that, over 8 years now? True or false? Making his debut in May 2014, the Leech Li Jingliang was the first Chinese-born fighter to compete in the UFC. Is that true or false? Question number 4. In addition to her career as a fighter, Miesha Tate has also worked as a vice president and in a brand ambassador type role for what combat sports promotion? See, obviously Miesha retired as a fighter, I don't know, that must have been like 5 years ago or so now, right? So, and during that time, before she came back as a fighter, she worked as a vice president in a brand ambassador type role for what combat sports promotion? And then finally, question number 5. UFC Long Island main event fighter Brian Ortega has been romantically linked with UFC flyweight Tracy Cortez for nearly the last 2 years. Known as Demon Slayer, which current UFC flyweight did Cortez defeat on Dana White's Contender Series in 2019? So yeah, Brian Ortega's girlfriend, Tracy Cortez, she made her way onto the UFC with a win on Contender Series in 2019. And the fighter that she defeated is also currently a UFC flyweight. So we're looking for, known as Demon Slayer, which current UFC flyweight did Tracy Cortez defeat on Dana White's Contender Series in 2019? That's it, folks. That is our 5 questions for this week. Thanks so much for watching. Please make sure to like and subscribe. If you look on the screen here, we've got Never Hedge Media, MMA Fight Club, and Erik Betts Fights. Those are all of the brands that are basically under the Never Hedge Media umbrella. So definitely support Never Hedge Media. You're right here on the channel now. Also subscribe to those others. And if you look on the bottom there, you can also see where to find Never Hedge Fight Club and Erik Betts Fights on Twitter. And we would also love your follow and support there. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Stay tuned to Never Hedge Media. We're dropping new content by 4 different content creators nearly every day. We're going to keep great coming out for you. We really appreciate your support. I am Erik with Erik Betts Fights, reminding you to play it smart, play it tight. Let's grow those bankrolls. This wasn't a betting show, so it's weird to say that catchphrase here. This was a trivia show, but thank you so much, everybody. Have a great day and enjoy the fights this weekend at UFC Long Island.